let's talk about Arch Manning. Your opinion of his start at the shoe is what?
It was predictable. I went on Stephen A. Smith's show the Friday before the Ohio State game, and I went on First Take, and I was telling them that I thought that the all of the hype and Heisman talk around him was unwarranted. I said that unless he was a guy who was on stage last year at the Heisman ceremony as a legitimate finalist, he doesn't warrant having his name mentioned in the same breath as that trophy. If you think he's, somewhat a quarterback who's going to have a successful career, or a successful season, why don't you start talking about the Davey O'Brien Award or the Johnny Unitas Award, whatever those quarterback awards, but not the best football player in the country. And I also said that he was a guy who he didn't jump out at me on tape. I mean, he had moments, and they're going to show those big moments on SportsCenter. But if you really watch the tape, there was nothing consistent that made you think he was the best football player in college football. And now he goes to Columbus, right, Rich? This is the beautiful part about all of this. People don't want to really criticize him as harshly because he is a Manning. And they want to stay in good favor with the Mannings, right? This is a big name in our sport. But so what they do is they make it seem like Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, just called this brilliant game that kept Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning off balance for 4 whole quarters. Now, Matt Patricia did call a very good game. There's no doubt about that. But I saw guys on SportsCenter and other shows pulling like 3 plays and showing how he may have confused Arch Manning with a look or a secondary switch at the last minute. And I'm watching the film, and I can show you 10 to 12 plays where guys were running wide open, and he either just didn't hit them with the ball or he didn't see these guys, and it wasn't that complex or that complicated. So he struggled the way I thought he would struggle because, even though he's been in the system for 3 years, you look at him, he's never really played in these meaningful games. So the hype was just blown way out of proportion for Arch Manning.
Man, what an opinion right there, Desmond. So what do you see for Arch going forward? An upward progression, starts to win some games. There's a big game against Florida, Georgia coming. Like that's go to the college football playoffs. And is that what you see here moving forward? Maybe not at the podium in Manhattan.
Rich, we know one thing, okay? We know one thing. Me and you, we know one thing. In order to go in Columbus and beat Ohio State, first and foremost, you have to be tough. That's what it takes to beat Ohio State. You're going to have to be tough. When they got the ball inside in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line, and they couldn't punch it in, and I can't put that on Arch. That showed me that at that point, they're not tough enough to go on the road and beat a team the quality of Ohio State. Now, moving forward, you said what's going to happen. Any analyst who talks about Arch Manning, they always wraps it up with, yeah, but he's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But in this sport, with that name, being fine just doesn't cut it. Being okay just doesn't cut it. That's not what they're known for. That's not what he's at Texas for, to be fine, to be okay. So I do think, obviously, like all these other teams, it's their first game. Will they get better as a team? Of course they will. They should. But you knew you were playing Ohio State the first game of the season. Ohio State knocked you out of college football playoff a year ago. You would think that you would be better or more prepared for this game than any game going to the season simply because of those factors. So it was kind of disappointing, really, to see such a lackluster performance from them. And I think that what you'll see now, Rich, is that they'll go up against inferior opponents who don't have the roster that they have. And Archer put up some numbers. He'll have some nice throws. He'll have some incredible runs. And then people will be, saying how great he is again. But they may struggle in the SEC going up against some of these tough teams if he doesn't get it together soon.
Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.